Hello everyone and welcome to AndersMillknits episode 14. I'm your host Emily and you can find me on Ravelry as aka Millie, on Instagram is aka Millie907, and I don't know why I was making a list because that's it. Well, you can find the show notes on the blog, which is AndersMillknits.wordpress.com. I think that's right. Why is it that I can never get this right? I don't know. But I wish I did. Today is going to be strange. We're back in the living room. We got Watson, our normal sidekick. Bubba, say hi. He doesn't want to come up. But in addition to that, there's somebody over there. My husband is here. He's been working on building a computer all week, and it's better for him to do it out here in the living room where he can have lots of space than in our small office. So now he's over there clacking away, and you know, you might hear him once in a while. He's staring at the computer. Do you know I'm talking about you? He knows. Anyway, so just so that you're aware, there just didn't seem to be a good time this week in order for me to podcast. So I thought, what the hey, I'll just tell my husband shh and hope that it all works out. As per usual, Watson is freaking out a bit because he can see out the windows that there are people, and how dare there be people in this world outside of the ones that he cares about, i.e. me and my husband. So, and yeah, he licks me all the time. So there you go. So, how's everybody been? Why don't we skedaddle straight into everything, shall we? Some administration and some reviewing some notes. I thought at first that I really didn't have much to podcast about because I seemed very scatterbrained the last 2 weeks. We've been doing a lot of things around the house, rearranging, because now that we've lived in the house a little bit, we're like, okay, we're not really, or the apartment, I'm sorry. Now that we've lived here for a little bit, we're like, well, there's some things we don't like, and there's some things that we do like. And one of the things we didn't like was just how we felt so claustrophobic in the office, because of course I work from home and Chris does a lot of IT work, and so he has we both have big desks, and then of course I had my huge, you guys saw in the last episode, I think it was the last episode, yeah, my big IKEA shelving unit with all of my yarn, and it was just a small room to begin with. So we decided to bring my bookshelf out here and put it underneath the kitchen counter in the dining room area, and then that would create more room so that come summer when we want to put in our portable air conditioner, we'll have the room for that. And holy cow, that just opened everything up. Like, that room feels, well, it doesn't feel big, but it does feel cozier, nicer, you know, more comfortable feeling, and I'm really grateful for that. We did have some scary moments because the next day my stepson and his fiance were over, and Chris and he were in the office, and I came in to check on them to let them know I think that lunch was getting ready or something like that. And all of a sudden I saw a little black thing running across my desk, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that an ant? And we've had ants already in this place, and we've had the Orkin guy in, and you know, we've got carpenter ants and sugar ants, and I am freaking out about it. So when I saw the little black thing running across my desk, I squealed, and my husband's just like, oh, kill it. And then I got closer, and I saw a whole bunch of them. And then my husband came over, and his son came over, and they were everywhere. It was, oh, it was disgusting. Wasn't it, honey? He's nodding, yes. And even our stepson, who's now in the army, he was kind of a little freaking out a bit. So we had to take everything apart in there in my office. They were on my computer, and my husband was saying it's because it was warm and stuff. And I'm freaking out and calling the apartment complex and telling them they better get out here now. This is just unacceptable. I just, you know, and so the Orchid did come out a few days later, but I haven't been able to use my office because I've been so freaked out about things for this whole last week. And, yeah, it was really bad. We'll leave it at that. We don't want to gross you out. But, so we were doing all that, and I was moving things around, cleaning things up, which turns out after I did research that your house being clean doesn't actually determine whether or not you get ants. It's the weather that determines when you get ants. Now, I'm from Alaska. I can't ever recall having ants in my house, ever. So that's a new thing for me here. And so I did a lot of research on it, and it turns out they just did a study in California about this, and cleanliness and using things like 409 or some herbal stuff, or even having the pesticide guy come out will not deter ants. It's the weather, and you just have to deal with it. So, okay, so let me see if I can get this right. When it's wet, they seek to escape the wetness and come inside. And then it'll taper off into the early summer, and then when it gets really hot outside, they'll also seek to escape the heat and come back in. So the study was showing that, honestly, you just have to deal with it. And it's the weather, not whether or not you clean till everything is shined and polished and there's not a speck of dust anywhere, because believe me, I've been doing that. It has nothing to do with all of that. So, c'est la vie, there goes that, and I guess I'm just gonna have to live with it, but I'm not happy. Now that I've gone on that rampage. So we've been working on that, and then my husband has had some doctor's appointments, and I've had some doctor's appointments, and so I'm going in for a colonoscopy, not to like freak anybody out, because I don't know if this is a thing or not. I'm an old hand at, you know, I'm a cancer survivor. I've had lots of things wrong with me, so I'm an old hand at going in to do things, have things done. So I'm not nervous at all. What I am nervous about is that they're throwing around the diagnosis of Crohn's disease, and so we'll weather whatever comes. But you know, that's coming up in 2 weeks, I think. And so, and hopefully I will know pretty quickly whether or not I do have it. So, but, c'est la vie. So that's kind of thrown me for a loop this week, and it's kind of, I feel like a little hummingbird. I haven't been able to land on any one project the last 2 weeks. And it's just that there's so much going on that I'm thinking about, and you know, trying to prepare myself for, and there's been I've been having a little bit of anxiety, and work has me overwhelmed, and I did talk to my boss about that, and actually she's been extremely supportive. It was really amazing. I had a long meeting with her yesterday. Actually, I went down to the office and met with her, and that was really, it felt so good to feel so supported by a boss. When at my last job, it was the complete opposite. Anyway, we won't get into that. Anyway, so I'm babbling along here. I think every episode should just be titled Emily Babbling, because that's really all it is. But that's really what's been going on the past 2 weeks, and you'll see what I mean with not being able to land on any one thing with my knitting. And I did have a "when knitting attacks," as the Knit More girls say, moment, and it was because of this fella. So he's all cute and stuff, But he doesn't want to admit that he does bad things, huh? You're a little mischief maker. So I'll show you that in one of my projects too. I will say, somebody gifted the podcast a new prize to give out. So that is super exciting. Sorry, Watson has a little seed in his hair from when we went hiking this morning, which was amazing, by the way. And I'm gonna anyway. I'm gonna show the new prize. I don't know what you call it because it's not for me. It's for you guys. What was given to me to give away. And so I'll show that at the end. But so I've decided we are so close to having 100 subscribers. I think the last time I checked, which I should have checked before I started recording, but the last time I checked, like last week, we were at 97. And if you recall, as soon as we hit 100 subscribers, I'm gonna open a thread on Ravelry, and you got Ravelry and my blog, because I know some people don't go to one or the other. And if you leave a comment about one thing that you like about the podcast and one thing you'd like to see improvement on. Now, this is not giving you rein to give me a critique, because I know there are so many things that I could improve on this. But really, honestly, it's not even really a podcast. I shouldn't even call this a podcast. This is just me vlogging, you know, and I may ramble and I may get things wrong and I might put my foot in my mouth, you know, and like for instance, when I talked about not enjoying Seattle or the Tacoma area, and all because of the craziness of the roads, that's me putting my foot in my mouth, because there are people out there who absolutely love that, but it's not for me. You know, so me opening these threads for you guys to win these prizes is not me asking for you to critique me, as in, you know, what I'm doing wrong. What I am asking for is to please say one thing that you enjoy and one thing that you would like to see either more of or maybe could be improved on. It could be the lighting. It could be the amount of time that I hold a project up to the camera so that you guys can actually see the detail of it, because I know that drives me crazy when I watch some other podcasts sometimes, because it's just like a flash. You never even saw the project, you know? Or maybe some more, bring in a different element. Like for instance, I've been contemplating doing some more like reviews of something, but I know a lot of people do that, and I don't know if I really want to get into that or not. Anyway, just tell me what you'd like to see more of. That's really it. And then the next time I podcast after that, I'll pull 2 names now, because we now have 2 prizes to give away, and the winners of that will be announced on the next podcast. And there you go. So there you go. So if we just need 3 more subscribers. The last time I checked, I could ask my husband to go to YouTube and check to see how many subscribers we have. Do you think he would do that, guys? He might do it for me. We'll see. He's in the middle of some things, I know, so we shouldn't bother him. So anywho, maybe I'll put down below here when I'm editing, if it's gotten to 100 subscribers, I'll let you know. Okay.
94.
Oh, we're at 94. We lost 3. Oh. Okay, never mind. It's well, you know, 6. 6 isn't a big deal. Oh well. Anywho, okay, moving on. So that is really what I have to say about reviewing the last couple weeks. Why don't we move right into the projects, shall we? Okay, so let's do some case notes. I have a new project, and I'm counting the first part of this project that I have completed as a completed project, as a finished object, because otherwise I would get frustrated. Oh, what's in here? You love bags, don't you? Watson just loves bags. What is it? Yeah, that's not for you. He doesn't like yarn. He's bored with yarn. So, for many, many years, I have wanted to knit the Beekeeper's quilt. And when it first came out, I jumped on the pattern, and I've had it in my Ravelry library for years. I don't know how long it's been out, but I know it's been probably at least 4 or 5. And I've never really done it because I never really thought I had the yarn to do it. And that's me saying, because I didn't want to break into my large skeins. So I've been collecting over the years some little minis, and you guys saw this a couple episodes ago where Stephanie Hot Pink Socks and I exchanged. This is what she sent me, some minis, and then when I was rearranging my yarn and stuff, I went through this whole process where I separated it out by weight and then by style. So if it was variegated, semi-solid, and then I think there was one more. Oh yeah, self-striping. And then after that, within those subcategories, I even separated out according to color. And then I put it all away. And while I was doing that, I came across some kits that I knew I was never going to do. So, and they had a bunch of minis in them. So I took them out and they're all very pretty, aren't they? They're nice fat minis, aren't they? Yeah. And I put them in this bag, and then here's another one from there. That nice vibrant purple and this softer purple. And then I had this other kit or gradient set that I bought years ago as well, and I've just never knit the gradient set. And every time I was thinking I was going to do a clapotis or I think, and I just never did it. And so I was thinking to myself, you know what, I'm just going to put this with my blanket. So here's that. They're such a beautiful colors. It's like burnt orangey brown. And so it's very earth tones, a lot of what I've got going on, kind of like a garden. But then, of course, you know, with my little minis that I have, that kind of breaks up the whole garden thing. But that's okay. I don't mind. And, you know, over the years, I've bought little mini skein sets. So this is from Fido Yarns. And these are her minis. Can you guys read that? I hope so. And this is her her mystery mini skeins set that I bought from her, and this is Mrs. Bennett. So from left to right, see if I can do this so you guys can actually see the colors. So this is Quill. This is Sealed. This is, I think, Baroque? No, Burnett. Burnett. This is Country Path. This is the Quill. And I don't know if I got an extra mini in there or what, because I never noticed that before. It looks like I got Sealed, this one, twice in there, but I've loved this forever, and I've never wanted to break into it because I just love the set so much. But I'm like, okay, Emily, this I'm picturing this quilt as like an epic journey. I'm trying to find an image of it. So here's an image of the quilt. And you make all these mini hexie puffs, and you stitch them together. She has a way that she does it, but I've seen other people do a different way, and I really like the other way that other people are doing it, so I'm probably going to follow that. And then I even bought some more minis this week because I was so excited about the project, so, and I'll show that to you in my toolbox section. But from my friend Stephanie's bag that she sent me, I made my first hexie puff. It's so cute! And I stuffed it with just a tiny little bit of stuffing, so it's all nice and squashy. And I love it. I love this colorway. I even messaged the dyer behind this on Instagram and said, if you ever dye this again, let me know. It's this sea glass color with little tiny specks of like maroonish pink and blue. It's so pretty. So that's my finished, I have a hoe too. That's one of my finished objects and a current work in progress too. So, and I have this back in my sweater bag. It's completely stuffed full. My sweater bag from Fat Squirrel Speaks, and Fat Squirrel Fibers. And I'm really pleased with that. Sorry, I couldn't remember where my hoe was. So, I think that's I'm probably gonna call that In the Garden or something like that, blanket. That sounds good to me. I think this might be too big of a sock blocker. So for my half-finished object, I have a finished sock for my grandma for Mother's Day. Isn't that a beautiful colorway? I mean, it's not really my color, and I'm not even sure if it's my grandma's color, but I really like it. I really wanted to knit this for her. And this is my design on the sock, Alpine Ridge. You can find that for free on Ravelry. So it's just a welting process. And then I made myself some stitch progress keepers this week, and this one is a little windmill, and that is delineating when the toe started, so that for my second sock I will know. So this is knit out of Lorna's Laces, and the colorway, I don't know. That's not that. And I haven't even started the second one yet. Ah, here we go. So it's Lorna's Laces, and then the colorway is Verve, and it's got approximately 435 yards. And anyway, it's got 80% superwash and 20% nylon. And as I mentioned last time, the dyer behind Lorna's Laces has moved on. She sold the business and she's moved on to another endeavor. And I think it's Lorna Dyes Again or something like that. I mentioned it last time. But I really liked her sense. And this is an old skein. So I'm pretty sure Lorna had a hand in this colorway. So I'm knitting these on US size 1s, 60 stitches around, and on 2 US size 1 circulars, 16-inch circulars. Does that make sense? So there you go. So why don't we move into what's on my needles now? So in session, I'm going to start with something that's not new. It's actually very old, but I don't know that I've ever shown it on the podcast before because I totally forgot about it. And when I was doing my cleaning out, I found it again. And I'm super excited about it. And I've knit a whole inch on it. But, so, I have a skein from Nomadic Yarns, and I think the colorway is Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And here's the colorway: self-striping, hot pink, grass green, and navy blue. And I don't know, maybe a year ago or more, I decided to make myself some fingerless mitts. And I don't really ever use a pattern for fingerless mitts. I think I'm going to write this one up, and if anybody would like to test knit it for me, let me know. But it's just going to be a free pattern on Ravelry. But this is just my standard one. And so I had this one done and in my project bag. And it's just like the way I finished it, because I just wanted it to be a rolled edge so that this would be out of my way. There was no ribbing at the top. Sometimes I do ribbing at the top and sometimes I don't. But it's got this nice tight, sleeve feel, and Like, I know I can type wearing this, and that was my intent, I believe, behind it. So I like it a lot. And I got super excited when I found it. And so I started knitting on the second one. And believe it or not, I was right here, where my fingers are up here on the green stripe, when I found this in the bag. So I've literally just knit this blue stripe and a little bit of pink, starting into the hand, ending the ribbing and starting into the hand. And I don't have any notes on it from when I was knitting this one. So I used to do this all the time. I'm pretty sure I know what I did for the thumb and everything like that. I hope I do. And so I'm just gonna try that again. And I'm super excited. I'll have this done this evening because I plan on concentrating solely on this today because I'm pretty stoked about it. So, in fact, this feels really good on, so I'm just gonna leave it on. There you go. So I'm knitting those also on US size 1, 16-inch circulars, nomadic yarns, as I said. And, oh, these are the Chowgu lace needles, and the cable is very stiff, which you may or may not like. For 16-inch circs, I kind of don't like. I would like them to be a little bit more pliable. So I think this is the only pair that I own. But maybe, like, if I was a knitter who knit like magic loop, like 40 inch or 32-inch circs for my socks, I think I might like that. I'm not gonna try it out right now because, you know, I don't do magic loop very often, or if at all, so there's no point in me trying it. But there you go. That's just my thought process around the stiffness of the cable from Chowgu red lace. Hello everyone, this is Emily from the future coming to you. This is an update on the fingerless mitts because I did indeed last night get them done. Not only did I get them done, but the ends still need to be woven. I mean, no, they're woven in. I just haven't blocked it yet, so I haven't clipped them off yet. But, however, what I was going to say is not only did I get these knitted up, finished knitted up, the other one. My gosh, there seems to be a lot of ends. But I wrote up the pattern as well. Now it's a pretty simple pattern. It's more like a recipe, and I, you know, made some notes and stuff on it. But I was wondering, here they are. Oh wait, let's back it up. So here you go. I was wondering if there's anybody out there who would like to test knit for me. These are going to be a free pattern on Ravelry. I've never even had a test knitter on anything before. I like that. Ooh. But if somebody out there would like to test knit, that would be awesome because, you know, it's always nice to have somebody look at your work and let you know. So there's their simple fingerless mitt pattern. It's going to be a free pattern on Ravelry, like I said, and so it's like no fame or glory to being a test knitter, but, you know, if you'd like, there you go. And I really like these. So I think these are great for self-striping yarn, but I think they'd also be really great for any highly variegated yarn that you're thinking of using. I have always noticed that ribbing tends to break up the highly variegated colors quite well. So anyway, thank you all, and if you'd like to, send me a message on Ravelry if you'd like to test knit it. Okay, take care, bye. Or back to your regular scheduled program. So, you guys may remember that last week, last time I podcasted, I had these socks done, right? But on the podcast, we discovered that one was bigger, wider around than the other. So, I've taken it with me in the car, and I've actually gotten to the point where I'm ready to put in the heel on a third. So I'm knitting 2 more socks. And I should have plenty. I mean, I got all this left, and I'm halfway done with the second sock. I mean, yeah, I've got plenty. And I decided also that on the second socks that I'm not going to fiddle with making the stripes line up, because I'm more concerned about being able to get 2 more socks out of it than I am matching them at this point. So that's what I've done. So I'm just matching up instead how many color stripes to knit before I do in the heel. So put in the heel. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I need to do one more. Oh, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I need to... Oh. I need to do one more stripe, and then I can do the heel on this one. And I had put it aside because I couldn't find the yarn for the heel. I didn't know where I put it. And that meant that I also couldn't work on my my heart fingerless mitts. Why don't we just make this a fingerless mitt episode, huh? So you guys remember this one? Well, I misplaced my pink. I couldn't find it. And I just literally found it right before I started podcasting. And so I couldn't do, and I'm also using the pink on the heel for the sock here, or in the toes. And so that meant I couldn't do the heel. So I put those socks aside, and see what I mean about just going, like, flitting from project to project? That's what I've been doing. So I finally found it. So I don't know, maybe, because I'm kind of a computer widow this weekend. Because my husband is so intent on his computer, which is fine, honestly. He's oftentimes I'm very intent on my knitting, and I feel bad when I'm so intent on it. But this gives me an opportunity to do some things that I want to do, you know, without having to worry about, you know, diverting my attention, I guess. Cause it's not that my husband's needy at all, because he doesn't complain about me knitting or anything like that. It's just that I sometimes feel bad, like when we're having a conversation and I'm sitting here knitting and going, but I'm not really looking at you, So, you know, it breaks into my knitting time. But so long and the short of all that is, you know, maybe I'll have a set of fingerless mitts done tonight and the heel of the sock done. That would be awesome. I would love that. Because I have a lot of knitting to do for Mother's Day. I still need to knit the second sock on my grandmother's, the 4th sock on the purple and turquoise stripes, because those are going to my sisters, and I need to knit my mother a pair of socks. So I have a lot of knitting to do before Mother's Day. I know it's like a month and a half away, but, you know, if I keep doing this flitting around thing, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all done. So, this is lovely. I was a little chilly, and now I'm feeling nice with my mismatched. Ooh, that's really cool looking, isn't it? Maybe these need to go together. No, I'm just teasing. So then... yeah, we'll talk about this first, because I want to save my when knitting attacks for last. I mentioned to you guys a couple episodes ago, or maybe last episode, that I got myself a Lucette, L-U-C-E-T tool, and that's this guy here. And I hadn't used it yet, and this is a new tool to me, but it's actually not a new tool at all. It's a very old tool. This is what the Vikings used to use to make rope. Well, okay, a 4-sided rope type. Let's put it over my forehead, maybe it'll. And use it for, they used it to decorate, you know, like their clothing, the edging on their clothing, you know. I've seen it where people have used it to make things like coasters, and I'm going to be doing that. I'm not really sure what else they use it for, But it just seemed very fascinating to learn about, and I really wanted to learn. And it was a relatively cheap tool to obtain. So I did. And I started working on it, and I've gotten pretty far. But the problem is that I am doing this on cotton thread. And it's very challenging to learn how to do to do the cord with, so you can see all my wonkiness. Can you see it all? And then you can see there's a period of time where I got really, really tight and then really, really loose. And I was just trying out different methods. I was watching different YouTube channels. And then finally I was watching a YouTube video that was saying, use wool as your trial run on when you're learning how to do the braiding, because wool is so much more pliable and it will be easier for you to get a consistent and cord out of it. And I was like, oh, so that's when I put it aside. But this is so much fun. I just love this. I have no idea what I will ever use this for, except for, oh yeah, that's another thing they used it for. They would use it for making rugs. They would make these out of lot larger, thicker actual rug yarn, and they would actually do this cord and make rugs, and then like a very huge coaster they would make up in the end. You know those oval ones? They always remind me of the country. I love them so much. The oval braided rugs. I love those. I want one. Actually, I don't want one. I want to make one. And I think this might someday be my avenue in which to do that. So that's my trial run of this. I'm going to switch it out to some actual, I've got a lot of scrap worsted weight around. Like some worsted weight from when I was dyeing yarn that I didn't like how the colorway came out, so I wasn't going to sell it. And so I'm thinking I'll use that to try and perfect my technique. And they say that, you know, within one or two braid lengths, that completed braid lengths of you doing, you will have it figured out and you'll be pretty good. And like people do these things where they use like 2 or 3 different colors on it. It can get incredibly detailed. So I like that a lot. So that's what that is. And that's just some junk cotton yarn. I don't even know what it is. It might have been from Knit Picks years and years ago, but I seriously doubt it. I think it was something I bought from Michael's. Pretty sure. Probably Lion Brand. So, and I think I was maybe knitting like a baby blanket out of it and I didn't like it, so I ripped it out. Okay, so here's my Find Your Fade. And it's the When Knitting Attacks.
No! No! No!
So, one night, my husband and I were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and Watson is usually sitting with us, and this time he was kind of laying over the side of the couch to the coffee table where I oftentimes put, not the coffee table, the side table, where I often put my project when I'm not knitting on it. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. I thought he had one of his toys with him and was just kind of gnawing away on that. Well, and then all of a sudden my husband like said something. What is he doing? And I went over to investigate, and it turns out he was chewing away on my stitch marker in my Find Your Fade, which was a rose. This was the stitch marker that I used when I made my wedding shawl, and I love it. And I'm really sad that I don't have it anymore. Anyway, and this is all that's left. It's just the actual circle, because he literally ripped it off of there. And I'm surprised he didn't hurt himself, like make himself bleed or cut himself. But then everything kind of went wonkadoo right here. Everything was soaking wet because of all of his slobber. And the cord was all kinked up because he had ripped all of this out like this. and was chewing on it away from the knitting, and so now everything is all stretched out. I think everything is fine. It's just that it really made me depressed. So I haven't knit on it in like a week and a half. Is that about right, honey?
Mm.
Oh, he's not listening. Probably a week and a half. So I need to look at it, get to it. Like, to me, when I'm looking at it, it looks like one of my stitches dropped right here, but why would that be? I don't know. I don't know if you guys could see that, but so no progress at all on my Find Your Fade. It's just the way things are. Well, I mean, there is like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 rows of progress, I think. But that's why when knitting attacks, or when Watson attacks. So, there you are. I did a little bit of spinning, and I mean a little bit. I have some fiber that I'm going to tell you guys about in a minute from a good friend of mine. And I started spinning on it when my stepson was here because I wanted to see how my little mini spinner worked. And oh crap, I just messed up my tension. Okay. Well, I'll fix it when I start spinning again. Now this is some brown fiber from a sheep, so you might not be able to see it too well, but that's it. That's all I've got right there. I want to do more. Oh, because the fiber is so fun. And I will do more. Oh, and it's spinning frog hair, guys. I'm serious. Like, I would hold it up to show you, but I don't know that you would see it because it's so thin. And it is from my friend at Intrepid Otter. And I mentioned her before. And this is the colorway Bartlett, and it's from one of her Shetland sheeps. And it's still got lanolin and a teensy bit of veggie matter in it, which I love. So she gave me this when I went to visit her on her farm. I got 4 ounces of her Shetland. Oh, and there's these little gray hairs in it here and there. I just love it. And she also gave me some, she was working on a project on her bat. And so, I think this is right. So she gave me some of her Shetland that she was working on right then. So I have all this beautifulness to play around with. Ooh. Oh, guys, it smells so good. And, oh, yeah, this. This is some more of her Shetland that she has. I think this is one's also Shetland. Let me know if I'm wrong. But it's so awesome. I love this one. So what I plan on doing is spinning up both of these and applying them together. So I got a barber pole? Yeah, barber pole, yeah. I think that'll be really beautiful. Oh, washing out, so let's go this way. How's that? A little bit better, but not by much. So that's my plan for that. So, that's what I've been knitting and spinning and loose-setting on for the last 2 weeks. So now do you see, I'm being loud, I'm sorry. So now do you see what I mean when I call myself a hummingbird? That'll probably be the name of this episode, Hummingbird Knitting, or something like that. So, last little bit. I guess this is going to be a short episode. That's weird. Last little bit that I have to talk about is what I have bought in the last 2 weeks. So why don't we first talk about my mini skeins so I don't forget about them. A friend of mine on Instagram, and I want to say your name, but I won't be. Damn, Brown. If anybody heard that, pretend you didn't. But that's why I whispered it. She's been posting about how her purchases from this one dyer for a while now. I don't know exactly how long, but every time she posts a new acquisitions, I'm like, oh, I want that. But every time I go over to the lady's shop, she only has worsted weight in there, and I'm not interested in buying worsted weight at this time. So I finally caught her update last weekend, and I bought a set of minis that are very generous. Holy cow, are they a generous lot. And then I also bought a really beautiful skein of yarn. So this is Peggy Jane Fibers. And this is my set of minis that I got from her. Oh, I just love that. Look at that. Oops, there it is. Do you see all that? And so this is what I mean when I feel like I'm knitting a garden. Because even the new minis that I just got apply to my feeling of knitting in a garden, right? So, like, I have a total here. Oh, this batch of minis is called Purple Dream. And I have a total of 462 yards here, total. Now, I don't know how that equals out into the 5 different skeins, but that's a lot. So that's going to go pretty far. I've got a little fuzz in it. That's going to go pretty far in my blanket. I think all of my little minis, they're so big that they're going to go far. Like even the mini that I got from my friend Stephanie, I've already made one hexie from it, and I have enough to do another hexie puff from that same one. So that means I'm going to get 2 out of every little mini that she sent me and all the little minis that I made during that time when I sent her some and made a double batch so that I would have some ready to go for my hexie puff. So that's a lot. So I'm excited about that. So when I ordered that, I also ordered, oh, this is so beautiful. It's the colorway called Reef. And I hope, oh yeah. Look at that, guys. Look at that pop of dark green in there. I mean, you can see it better over here. There's these oranges and pinks and peaches and dark, it's like turquoise green. I think it's a bluish green, honestly. Let's see if that will focus. Not really. There it will. I don't know if you saw the color though. Oh, it's so beautiful. Peggy Jane, which is not her name, the dyer behind this is a genius. I'm serious. Like, I loved everything I saw in her shop. It was very hard for me to choose which one I wanted. But I'm on this peachy pink kick right now. And I also really like speckles. So that's what won me over for this one. One of my favorite colors of all time is orange. I have so many favorite colors. It's like not even... Why would I even say I have a favorite color when it's really everything? So, I got that. And then, over the last 2 weeks, I put in an order to one of my all-time favorite dyers, Diabolical Yarns. And Rachel is the mastermind behind Diabolical Yarns. I just wanted to see what was in here. New at Diabolical. Do you love stripes? Oh. She also now carries 9-inch circular needles, interchangeable needles, notions. I knew all that. And she also has a podcast, Knit, Dye, Read. I love her podcast. They're usually pretty short. And because for me, like, a normal size podcast is like an hour or more. And Rachel's podcasts are probably more like half an hour to sometimes, at most, 45 minutes long. But she's just awesome because she talks about what she's done, her dyeing process. She's very real. Like, if she doesn't like something, she's going to tell you. And she talks about what she's reading, and she's a romance reader like me, but she reads everything. Like, the variety of things that she reads is just astounding to me. Mysteries, biographies, romance, and we're talking all genres within those categories. And like, I love listening to what she's telling me that she loves to read. And she also really loves one of my favorite podcasts too, which, oh my gosh, I've forgotten the name of it. Anywho, but I am doing currently, in our group, we are doing a swap. A spring swap. And only 2 of us signed up. So I bought some yarn to do with the swap. And I'm really excited because it's my friend Terry from back home in Alaska. And she was a knitting friend. She is a knitting friend of mine. And we used to hang out at our local knit shop together, which I miss it so much. Anywho. And we would knit together, and when I moved, it was kind of sad because I was losing my knitting buddy, but we've been keeping in touch over social media and stuff, and so I was super excited when she signed up, and I got to be her partner. So I got her a skein of diabolical yarns of a very different color, but I can't show it to you or talk about it because I don't know if she'll have it before I put this up, but it's so beautiful. And at the same time, I got myself the 10th anniversary colorway that Rachel did up because she's been now in business for 10 years. Now that's astounding. I just want to say, for any business, let alone a hand dyer, because this is a very niche business, and it's also a very fickle business, and it's also a very incredibly taxing business. You know what I mean? Physically, emotionally taxing business. And that she's been around for 10 years. It's just amazing. So, I got her 10th anniversary. And it's so beautiful. I got my rusty oranges. And then, oh, look at that. Some, pea green kind of thing. Like pea soup green, you know? A split pea. There you go. And then there's some, so light gray. It's almost natural color in there. And some dark grayish browns right there. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to make something out of this. And it feels lovely as well. So this is her Tenacious Tencel sock yarn. So it's got, and I didn't realize I got this one. I really didn't. I just saw the 10th anniversary thing and I put it in my cart and bought it. But I'm glad I did. It's lovely. 75% merino, 15% nylon, and 10% Tencel. And it's got 100 grams and it's got 380 yards in it. So there you go. This will be something nice and special. And she sent me, along with that, a little worsted weight mini. And this is her CMY color. It's so vibrant, like fun, like Mardi Gras fun, but not Mardi Gras, because Mardi Gras, this is like Rainbow Bright fun. There you go. There you go. So this is 100% superwash merino wool. And so the full-size hank has 184 yards, approximately, she says. So there, and so that was really exciting. So then, let's get into the last thing that I bought, which is a series of 2 things. I have to take something out of here so that you guys can really see it. So, I found this new I found a new podcast to listen to, and it's a mother and daughter, and one of the daughters, and her daughter just moved to Scotland to be with her husband, and it's the Pearl and Plum. And they also have an Etsy shop where they make bags. And they're so sweet. I actually have a really hard time when I'm listening to them telling the difference between who's the mom and who's the daughter talking, unless they make reference to something like about that would indicate that it's a mother talking to her daughter, or it's the daughter in Scotland, like she's talking about her decorating her new apartment in Scotland, you know. And so they, the mom makes bags. Sorry, I can't remember her name.
Duh.
I'll put it down below because this is a really awesome audio podcast. I really like it. And they're newish. I think they're only doing 1 episode a month right now, I think. And so I wanted to look at the bags that they made. So I went over and I fell in love with quite a few of them. And their prices are very reasonable. But one of them that I really fell in love with is this humongous one that has a double-decker on it. And it reminds me of Don't Let the Pigeon Drag the Bus book. Because look what's in the driver's seat. I love that book. I think it's Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Don't let the... And they even have a board game for it, too. It's a little kid's book. But this is lovely because this is like made out of plastic of some sort. Like, almost like it's, you know, the stuff, the outdoor picnic table cover, which is really cool. And I love the sound it makes when I move it around. I love that sound. And then inside, she's lined it with this classy gray and white stripe. And then, okay, so it's got, this is just so awesome. I don't know if you can see this, but it's got 3 large pockets down in there on one side. And then on the other side, it's got this lovely pocket with her logo on it. Then she's got this guy, a little carabiner thing to put your keys or your notions or something on with a lobster clasp. And it's just humongous. I love this. Like, I'm like, is this a knitting bag or a purse? And oh, and it's got the button closure on it. I just love it. And this was very reasonably priced. And it's about London. I loved it. And then, because I'm knitting so many socks, I wanted to get another sock bag, and I really, really liked hers. And so I got myself, and anything with a sheep on it, sold. Done. So this has, and I'm not a red person, but I love this. This has a sheep and a little goat in a little garden. See this circle? It reminds me, it's very vintage to me. And then they're blue and white plaid checkers. And then this is very REI up here. Do you like how I'm saying everything is this? Everything is that. Reminds me of this and that. But this is like the stuff that sleeping bags, I think, are made out of, this fabric here. And it's my favorite drawstring. So there you go. So I'm going to put my mom's socks that I'm going to knit for her in here when I start knitting. Look how beautiful and oh, I guess the word is 3D or structured. Structured, that is. Right? I love the drawstrings and the smaller ones anyway, because when I'm out and about traveling for work, these are what I can bring with me, because they fit in my work bag, and when I'm sitting in my car, I can sit down and just pull them right out. Or if I'm stuck in traffic, again, I can pull it right out. I don't do that, no. So I love these bags, these size bags. So she was so lovely that she sent you guys a bag too. This is the bag that's going to be on the 100 subscriber giveaway. So she sent little kittens with yarn, and like they're wearing sweaters, people. Fair Isle sweater. Now, I'm not a cat person, which is why I did not buy this bag when I saw it on there. But I am so glad she sent this bag for you guys. Look at all the yarn and everything on it. And it's the same. Inside, oh, did I mention on the last one that she's got a pocket in this one too? Like, come on, who does that? Oh, I love the ribbon too. Look at that ribbon. It's so fun. And she puts little beads on the end. Everything about this is thought out. And none of this is cutting corners. Like she went out of her way to, like, she's a master, I think, at sewing. She's gotta be, just the way all this is done. Like the squared bottom that will hold your skein snugly down in there. The extra pocket, which is gorgeous. Then, and all the different fabrics that she combines to put together. The sleeping bag type fabric. You know, it's just, I've never seen anybody do this kind of thing. Now, at the same time, I'm not a big bag buyer. I don't buy very many bags. But once I find somebody that I love, I will buy. Like, for instance, Stephanie of the Rusted Stitch. I love her bags. And I put in some things from her shop into my cart a few times this last week. But then I told myself, hold on, Emily, You need to wait. Oh, see, I messed this up for you guys. So, because hopefully she'll be having an update sometime soon. And I want in on that update. So anyway, this is up for grabs for you guys. So those are all the... Oh, feels like a whirlwind, doesn't it? Emily's just chatting away. Those are all the things that I've been working on, lusting after, flittering around on. It's just, I've had a lot of fun the last 2 weeks. It's weird. It's hard for me to describe what the last couple weeks have been like for me. Actually, it's been a little longer than that, but there's a lot of changes going on in our lives and a lot of things that we're working on conquering or understanding more fully. And one of them is our health. And for me, that's always been a struggle. I've always been not exactly of great health. It's funny because I actually am rather healthy, I think. I mean, I get out and I do things. I never let anything hold me down. But you know, there's some things that have cropped up for me in the last year that have been rather disconcerting and scary. And one of them is my diabetes, you know. I was crying to my husband a week and a half ago saying, like, this is a life sentence for me. And, you know, like, I didn't feel that way when I had cancer. I felt like we got in there, we took out the cancer, I conquered it when I went through treatment, and it's gone. But with diabetes, it's never going to be gone. And if I have Crohn's disease, it will never be gone. And I'm scared about that. So, you know. So there's just a lot of things going on. So I've been doing a lot of listening to podcasts and listening to my Audible books. I've downloaded a couple of new audiobooks that I'm pretty excited about. Oh, crap. I wish I wasn't recording on my phone because I would tell you what I get downloaded. One of them is totally out of my normal zone of reading material. It's in the first person, which I generally don't like, and it's like kind of, it's not steampunk. What do they call it? Modern day paranormal. It's a mystery, but it's got a witch in it. I don't know. It just seemed funny and lighthearted. And so when I was reading the description, I liked the description. And when I was listening to the sample, I liked the reader. And so I was like, you know what? I need funny right now. And so I got that. And I'm almost done with listening to my romance novel on Audible, the 10 Ways to Lose a Duke. Why can't I ever think of this? It's a good one. It really is. It made me cry at one point. It made me flush at another point. Luckily, I was in my car on long drives out to the coast. So, but then, you know, I've been finding myself listening to it when I'm in the kitchen cooking and things like that, just so that I can kind of like zone out. And I've been finding a lot of solace in cooking lately. I don't understand that because I don't like food. I know that sounds weird. I mean, look at me. And I'm saying I don't like food. But you can ask, I mean, everybody who actually knows me in real life knows that I don't eat very much. Generally, I eat about, like if we were to go out to dinner, I would probably eat about half of what I was given, and I would take home the rest, and that would be my lunch the next day. And that's just my mojo. That's how I go. I'm more of a snacker than a full meal kind of person. And yeah, I love my Mountain Dew because for a while there, it was one of the only things that I felt like I could eat and keep down for a good long while. So it was hard for me to not drink that. But I've been finding a lot of solace in the kitchen lately. So I've been making, which is great for our health. I've been making a lot of homemade meals. We used to eat out a lot, and now I think it was over a week ago when the last time we ate out, huh, honey? I think so. About then? Okay, about then. I'm probably wrong. I'm horrible with my memory, as you guys can tell. Like, time is not linear to me. Like, when it's past, it's past. And I have a hard time saying, this is actually why I struggle a lot of times doing the week in review, or the 2 weeks in review, because I'm all like, oh, it's gone. What do I have to talk about? It's gone. But anyway, so I have a hard time saying things like, okay, well, I know this happened 3 days ago. Where normally I'm just like, oh, well, that happened sometime in the past. I don't know exactly when. So now I'm rambling again. But anyway, so that's where I'm at with things. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Sorry if it's extra long or short or what have you. And I really appreciate you coming and stopping by and knitting with me and seeing what I'm working on. I'd love to see what you guys are working on. Leave a comment below, like the video, and let's chat it up, shall we? So as they say, knit like the wind, and put a sweater on if you're cold, because that's what